Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Black, White, and Red All Over. I'm Victor Danders, the hardest working man in comics.
Ryan Seymour, reigning king of Comic Town.
Yes! And if this is your first time checking us out, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get some of this goodness every week.
And the bell.
Because we're gonna notify you. We're going to tell you, we're doing these things. As always, we are here reviewing some of the bestest comics that have come out. I don't know if there was a single dud this week.
No.
I can't say that there was.
There were no duds, but the problem was the clear-cut champion was so good.
Oh my God. I am so glad that you said that because I was afraid we were going to have a conversation.
No, because this... we'll get to it.
Okay, we will. Okay, so let's start with our honorable mentions, which were honorable truly indeed. Mm-hmm. I've got 4. How many do you have?
I went 3. Nice.
Okay, so we've got 2 that are the same,
Jace.
And then I did some extra because I do that. I'll start off with Black Widow because this one, the cover got me. Like that. That's fun. Okay, that's good comic booky goodness, and it's Kelly Thompson on writing, Elena Casagrande as artist, and Jordi Belair on colors. Which sounds to me, by name, guessing alone, an all-female creative team. Ladies and gentlemen, yes. Like, I'm not even saying that on some pandering stuff. Yeah. Like, not only is that just generally dope, but the book is dope. And I'm not talking about like, oh, it's dope because a girl did it. It is just dope, okay? Like, 100%, I didn't know that picking it up, and the credits aren't until the end. So they're still like, just read it.
Yeah.
Just read it. And it's amazing. Super fun intrigue. It starts off with Natasha doing what Natasha does best, which is brilliantly done. But we jump into a mystery of sorts that is going to be absolutely amazing. If this isn't what the movie's vibe is, they did it wrong. Check source material first, guys. Black Widow, #1, dope. Read it.
This is a bold move by Marvel this week.
Uh-oh.
We got DC putting out DCeased Dead Planet. If you're going to put out a Marvel Zombies book, like, you better be pretty confident.
You better.
This one's actually good.
Word?
Yeah. Philip Kennedy Johnson writing, Leonard Kirk doing the art, Rachel Rosenberg doing the coloring. Just amazing. Didn't she do the coloring for the Mockingbird?
Rochelle does it all.
Yeah.
She is everything.
Really, really good. So in this one, there was like a one-shot that came out like 17 years ago where it was Galactus got infected with the zombie thing and it ends up crashing into Earth. This picks up shortly after that with a flashback, and then we go to a future, not too far into the future, but long enough that grizzled Peter Parker is trying to lead a few of the surviving people on these raids to try to just stay alive, to get ahead of these. Because the Marvel zombies are like the DCeased zombies, and they're sentient. Okay. And they're still just nasty, repugnant things. They run into just a horde of them.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh no, wait, hold on. I saw that.
Yeah.
No.
So they run in, one of the early people they run into is a zombie that I wouldn't want to mess with, because it's just
I just want to look through this some more.
And so it's them tooling around and surviving, and they finally they figure out that there's a way they can find Sue and Reed Richards, because they've got Val and Franklin Richards. Right.
What a weapon.
Right? But there's some like we've got. Will it spoil it to say what it is?
Yes, it would spoil it to say what it is.
Because there's 2 weapons that you have to look really, really closely at to figure out, like, oh my God, is that what it is? But flip to the end, because I was liking it, but I wasn't sold on it until that.
Oh.
Right? Yeah. Just
slightly
different job description, but he's he's flexible, fluid with the environment.
And good with it. I think if there's anyone that's going to kill it dead, it's going to be him.
Yeah.
So that's pretty dope.
Really, really solid. It was like a double-sized issue, $5.99, worth it. Enjoyed it quite a bit.
Okay. I mean, obviously, in the League of DCeased, Marvel Zombies had to do something. They had to answer back.
Yeah.
Tom Taylor is doing the Lord's work over there, and you can't just be, eclipsed like that. That's disrespect. Yeah. So I respect it. I took on another Marvel piece here, Empyre #6. This is the end of the Empyre storyline, and it's a very clean wrap-up. Very clean. I don't know that I love the wrap-up, only because, this is kind of a weird one. It's a hefty read, okay? It's a thicker piece here. Yeah. But You know, the thing that in a superhero crossover event like this that turns the tide, it flows a little too quickly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because like you need it to be that crescendo, that moment where you're like, yes, that's how they figured it out. It just kind of flows a little too effortlessly, and that kind of stuck me because I'm like, no, I needed it to be, you know, a little bit more something, a little bit more something. So, you know, I mean, it was fun. I don't think that they're just going to erase and go back to status quo per se, which is always good, but I wanted it to be a little bit more punchy with the actual turn, but it was still fun. Still fun. Yeah.
Interesting.
That's all I got. You know, if that's the worst though,
it's been the best miniseries that they've had out
for a while,
years.
man. Yeah. So, I mean, just to, you know, like I said, to come to that space and go, well, I just wanted to hit harder.
Yeah.
It's so nitpicky.
Yeah.
Right? You know, it's not like they flubbed it. They just dropped the ball. Yeah. No, I just wanted to hit harder. That's all. You know.
A little more impact.
Yeah. Now we're getting into the ones that we both read.
Right. This is where it's really tough.
Yes.
Because we've got... I did not know it was possible to write a love story that is also a horror story.
And yet it is.
Yeah, it's like Blade Runner in the age of social media, mixed with, what was the movie with Joaquin Phoenix and the artificial intelligence?
Was that Her?
Her?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's got all these components. And, Lonely Receiver, Aftershock Comics.
Yes.
Zach Thompson, Jen Hickman, Simon Boland doing the lettering.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. It says right on the cover, mature readers, and it is very much
so.
mature
very
readers
much
book.
There's lots of the sexy time in this book.
And just an unhealthy relationship.
Man, you talk about the toxicity of it all. What's really interesting to me is that this is a very emotional book.
Very much so.
And for whatever reason, you know, very stereotypically so, you wouldn't always expect that from a male writer. And Zach does a great job with really tapping into emotion.
Yeah.
Without even being like, you know, male emotions, female emotions, just emotions. Period. Just how people feel.
Yeah. What is intimacy? What is fidelity? What is true communication?
Yes. What is infidelity? Yeah. Oh my God! In this regard, this is
like what is partnership versus ownership?
Yeah. Oh.
What is human versus not?
Right.
And the one thing, this is like a very nitpicky sort of like it didn't hit hard enough with Empyre. I kind of wish that I would have read this.
Yes.
First.
Okay. So, absolutely. And it's kind of funny. In the age of Jonathan Hickman, I think he has absolutely changed the game.
Yeah.
And while I wasn't the biggest fan, per se, of that, you know, sort of expositional build-up first and then story, sometimes it's kind of necessary.
Yeah, because this hit extra hard. Because it hit hard, and then I read this, and I fully understood. There's a section right after the comic part, which is very, very Hickman-ish in the sense of like, it's basically a bullet point ad for a Philo telephone service.
Right.
It'd be like the easy elevator pitch for it. But I recommend reading it first because then it really kind of fleshes out some of the stuff that's going on.
Yes.
And it makes scenes that are impactful even more so.
Yes.
And
now the extra note stuff that you can save for the very end because I think that's where it's supposed to be. But you're absolutely right. This 2-page piece at the beginning, if you read that first and you're like, okay, I got it. I do wonder if that's why it exists and then why it's in the back of the comparison to Hickman stuff. But I do think that it does paint the right picture ahead of time. But man, I love the ethereal feel of the art. I know it's ethereal, but I like ethereal. That's my favorite way to say that. The colors dance.
Yeah.
Really, really well.
Oh my gosh. To dive, because I think we're going to dive further into the psychology of this main character.
100%.
And whatever is going on at the end of it with that person or whatever.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wowie wow.
Super wow.
Yeah. Really, 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 really good. I know that Aftershock's big announcement about Kaiju Score, which is a movie or a comic that just got optioned,
right,
was the big announcement. But this
one
should not be overlooked. Because holy crap!
I actually think this was supposed to come out earlier this year.
I feel like it was.
Yeah, and got pushed back due to COVID situation. Yeah. So we got to catch up on this one. I hope that this one gets fast tracked for more issues coming out, because that was good.
Absurdly
read. Super good read. Speaking of another good read, Strange Adventures number 5, Tom King, Mitch, Evan. Oh my God, you guys!
It just continues to be awesome. Continues. If you haven't been reading it, which you need to rectify, because it's really absurdly good. It's a story about Adam Strange, potential war crimes that he committed on Rann, and he's now on Earth. Justice League is looking into it, and depicts the enemy race of aliens that attacked Rann might be attacking Earth.
Right. And still very, covertly.
Yeah. And so it picks up with this in-between where Adam Strange is persona non grata.
Right.
But there's a potential that he and his wife they'd be incredibly powerful tools because of their experience.
They've fought them before and won.
Yeah.
Which is the rarity.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the way that Tom King is telling the story in a combination of flashbacks and current time is we're getting these snapshots of what they did to pull the various tribes on Rann together to be able to repel this enemy. And there is a combination of respect that I have growing for her and fear.
100% on the fear factor, okay? I was waiting for you to say that. There's that line that she says.
Yeah. Where I'm like,
when it comes to whether or not I'm going to help you, that's a guarantee.
Yeah.
That's a guarantee. If that's my choice, help you or that, I'll help. I was just curious as to what you guys were doing, and if you had a plan. If you didn't have a plan, I would like to help you formulate a plan. But I wasn't saying no. Certainly not to you.
Yeah.
Not to your face. Yeah. There's such an interesting mystery surrounding this whole thing, because there's so much building, and it's yet again a character that is so off the beaten path.
Yeah.
He's not he's someone's fan favorite, obviously, but it's rarely spoken of. So to really read this series, you're learning more about Adam Strange than your average comic reader is going to know. So it's really kind of fun. It's super amazing, actually.
It's really good.
Yeah.
So pick it up, read it. It's only up to issue 5. DC's been doing supplemental printings of the issues that might be sold out at your store. Hit them up. You'll love it.
Absolutely. It's 5 of 12. So next issue or after next issue, we might get the first collected edition. So great way to catch up. So there you go. Okay, so moving on to the acrylic, the ones who are the best out of all of that we're looking at. We've got one that's the same.
Oh, really?
Just one that's the same.
Oh, wow.
But I did read that one, so we can talk about it.
Yeah.
So where do you want to start?
Well, all right, I've talked about Marvel Zombies.
Yes.
Why don't you go DCeased? Because that's the reigning champion right now.
DCeased Dead Planet with the V for Vendetta cover. Hello.
Yeah.
Tom Taylor, Trevor Harrison, Gigi Baldacini, Rain Burrito. Listen, I'm gonna just, because you didn't read this.
I've not read it now.
What would you say if somebody had one of those? Right?
Yeah, no, that's not
good? Especially if they were bad people?
Yeah.
What would you say if they had a couple of them? That's... Okay, so...
Tom, what's wrong with you, man?
It's like a totally different threat right there. It's a totally different threat. Okay, so clearly, we're in the 5 years after what is now the Justice League has come back, and they've been informed that there is a cure that, they're like, wait, what? So the various heroes that are now spread out through the world are going to have to band together and figure out this cure situation. Where this leaves us in this issue, oh my God. Both literal and figurative.
Interesting.
Yeah. What they're about to have to do, it's about to... Yes. I thought... So last issue, it ended with the threat of Plastic Man.
Yeah.
Who had been turned and was this big red glob of evil deathness. Yeah. I thought that was going to be like the worst of the worst.
Yeah.
I appreciate how they dealt with it. Mm-hmm. I don't know how they're going to deal with this next phase of stuff. I don't know. Ugh. I don't know how. Like, woo, bad. There you go. You go. That's all. Yeah. Woo, bad. That's a review. I'm a professional.
More Tom Taylor this week. We got Hellblazer, Rise and Fall. Tom Taylor, Derek Robertson. All right. So one of the big things, and this is Black Label.
So you know.
Yeah. One of the complaints or criticisms that DC has had leveled against them in years with their handling of John Constantine and Hellblazer is with moving him out of the Vertigo universe into the mainline DC universe. They've had to tone down certain aspects of his being, which I think takes away from the character. Because
of course,
Constantine is not a PG-13 person.
He's not a superhero. Let's be honest. Like,
he's a terrible person.
Yes,
who happens to be able to do things that other people can't, or willing to do things that other people won't.
Right.
And there is constant collateral damage.
100%. 100%.
And this is a story about that collateral damage that Tom Taylor is telling. And it earns the Black Labelness.
Really?
It is Constantine at his fullness. All the swearing, all the smoking, all the drinking, all of the biness that we've come to expect from what we're like, oh man, if only Constantine would do. It's here.
He does it.
And
okay.
It goes back. There is something that he's done in his past. One of the few things that he's done in his past that he actually feels guilt for.
Oh.
And something has caused that to come back to the present, and it is going after him. At the same time, though, there are two murders that have happened where people have been made to look like angels in the sense of like they've had wings attached to them.
Okay.
And one of the dead people is someone who was very, very important, not to Constantine directly, but just in the general scheme of things in England. And Constantine realizes something really, really hella bad is happening.
Oh. And
it takes it up to level 666 when at the end of it...
Oh, that's never a good thing.
That's never a good
That's never, ever a good thing.
If you've been complaining and saying, why can't I have a Constantine story? Why do I have to keep buying the trade paperbacks from 20 years ago?
Yeah.
That's
the end of your toil.
This.
Right there.
Pick it up, buy it. Because here's the thing, is if people don't buy it, it's not going to sell, and DC's going to look at it and be like,
oh, people don't like this kind of John Constantine stories.
Buy it.
Please.
It is so good. You will not regret it. And if you're anything like me, you will hear Matt Smith's voice. He is the Constantine.
Yeah, 100%. Firepower number 3. Robert Kirkman, Chris Samnee. Listen, can this just be something in real life already? Like,
someone option it.
Somebody, please. Amazon, surprise us all and have been filming this in a bunker somewhere.
Yeah.
And it drops next week. That would be awesome. That would just be awesome. This is one of... Okay. So, here's... Okay, I figured it out. Mm-hmm. Robert Kirkman's superpower is not solely in his writing. Okay? Like, that's a part of it, but it's not solely it. It is finding the best collaborators to tell a certain kind of story.
It's a good power to have.
It's a great power to have. If you really go through, Kirkman has every potential of being like in the conversation of the writer greats that are ultimately teamed up with somebody else.
Yeah.
You know, Claremont Byrne, Stan and Jack, like he can do that because he's always writing to the strength of the person that he's working with.
Yeah.
And Chris, Chris, I did mean what I said. I propositioned Chris on Twitter today, and I meant it. I really did. Is one of the best storytellers in the game. Like, I mean, who can go through a 2-page spread that has multiple panels, but very little in terms of border?
Yeah.
But you still read it perfectly.
Yeah.
And it's just great. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Matt Wilson did his job on this particular spread. I gotta give him mad credit on that one, especially this burst of a different color. But yeah, like the way that they tell stories together. Yo, if you're sleeping on firepower, wake up and read some stuff because it is dope. Did you get any more of the Prelude trade paperbacks in?
It took forever through Diamond's nightmarish draconian butt sauce replenishment reorder program. Seriously, it is the worst thing I've experienced since my colonoscopy. But
is that a no?
No, I got him in.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. I was just waiting. Like, you have me on like bated breath here. I'm like, it sounds terrible, but did you get him? That's yeah. Because I'm gonna need to grab that and this issue because oh my god, so good, and it's only issue 3, y'all. Yeah. Okay, only issue 3. You don't need the prelude, but you do need the prelude because it's amazing. It's so good.
All right. This is the big one from Boom this week.
Yes.
Al Ewing, Simone DeMeo. We only find them when they're dead. All right. This is one that I'm really curious about. So I'm wondering if this is something that because Al killed it, absolutely annihilated it on the Ultimates when he was writing that for Marvel. What I'm wondering is this something that he had come up with and he kind of kept to himself and pitched to Boom?
Okay.
Or is this something that he talked to somebody at Marvel, like, okay, I got an idea.
I got this idea, and they're like,
story.
No.
Yeah.
Totally understand where you're going with that.
And
totally.
If Marvel said no,
you deserve what's coming to you.
Yeah, you all is done.
Yeah.
Because this is so cool.
Yeah.
It is in the future.
Yes.
It is in space, deep space. And there are gods, space gods, that eventually die. And they only get found when they're dead, apparently. The thing is, I don't know if they're gods or if they're like Galactus or they're Celestials or something like that. But the interesting thing is, as their corpses are found, there's tons of stuff that can be salvaged from them.
Mined, even. Cultivated.
Protein for meat.
Yeah.
There's minerals that can be used for weapons.
Yes. Jellies.
Jellies.
Of different sorts.
Which they get into.
I don't even know what that...
I don't know. Eye jelly just feels black market eye jelly.
No judgment.
Generic Bolivian eye jelly.
Right.
I trust it.
Ooh, you want those dark circles to go away? Put some eye jelly on it. Yeah. So I read this one, and it didn't make my showcase pile, partly because I wasn't in love with the title.
Yeah.
I felt like the title was too long.
But what do you condense it down to? Like, that's where...
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Which is why I still read it. But I definitely felt like I was like, this is so long-winded. Where are we going with this?
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right, though. I think that there are parts of this that clearly look like something that Marvel could have done and didn't do for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And he's exploring it. And I thoroughly appreciate that aspect. Yeah. In terms of character, I would have liked to focus a little bit more on who the main cast is going to be. Yeah. So that we get a better understanding of what exactly their world is like. Yeah. Is that weird?
No, because there's this world view that we're getting. So, all right, it's not going to spoil anything.
Right.
There's a dead god.
What?
And all of these
miners,
yeah, because they all travel in a pack, lay claim to different parts. It's all regulated, and these different they start chopping up stuff, and we're getting kind of a view of what goes on with that. And then we're just getting like a really small snapshot. The crew of 4 people on this one particular, who I think are going to be a protagonist.
Yeah.
Al doesn't give us enough about them.
No. Because they could just be, the way that they kind of bounce around, they could literally be anybody.
Yeah.
And it's only because we stick with them so long through the issue that we know that we are supposed to follow these guys versus anybody else. Yeah. But, yeah, we don't have any backstory.
Yeah. He hasn't built that connection to him
yet. Yeah.
So like, okay, something happened then,
But yeah, that's that. Like, do we really get anyone's name?
Not really.
Not really.
Like that's the thing is there. We're on the front porch.
Yeah.
And the rest of that story is inside the stuff that I really want to dive into, but he hasn't let us in yet.
Right. He hasn't even like answered the door. We haven't heard him really call from us, ringing the doorbell or knocking. He hasn't said anything yet. So we're really like on the cusp of not really knowing a whole lot of anything other than there are gods in this universe, and when they die, there's a group of people that show up and try to mine them for materials. Yeah. And there is a whole ecosystem surrounding that.
Yeah.
Cool. Who involved though?
We don't know.
Yeah.
Who were these gods worshipped?
Right?
Like, are there people that are like, hey,
wait,
stop chopping our Argata? Come on, man.
Hey, where'd our god go? Did
anybody see?
Oh my god, what are they doing?
There's like 3 molars left.
Yeah, that's terrible. That's terrible. Just floating in space. And a whole colony lands on them. It's like, we shall call it Molartron. I'm sorry, that just happened. But yeah, like I just wanted more.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
But it's not really what I expected to get from Al Ewing, where I'm looking at it like, what? Give me more. Like, not like, oh, I can't wait, but almost standoffishly like, is that it?
Let's promise it's Al Ewing. Al Ewing is so good that the expectations are so high that even if it's still like 90%,
you still like
but you're
I wanted 112. From you, I get 112.
Yeah.
Why are you holding back? Come on, man.
That issue 2 though.
Yeah, I'm hoping issue 2 just breaks my face open.
Yeah, because there is an ending.
Yeah. Yes.
Because that's where he starts to let us inside. Because there's this interaction where you're like, go on, and then that last sentence.
I think that's literally what it is. This is more of a decompressed story, and I would have preferred a compressed one where this is maybe like 3/4, and then we start something, and then it cuts us off.
Yeah,
I would like that. Just a request. Director's cut, if you got one. I'm just saying.
This is the clear-cut champion of the week. I don't think, and there's any doubt. Like, other stuff was really, really good.
It was. However, this from AWA, Upshot, Jeff McCumsey, Tommy Lee Edwards, John Workman, Grendel, Kentucky.
God damn.
Listen, let me be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I picked up this book for one reason. Tommy Lee Edwards.
Yeah.
It had me there, right? Yeah. Like, off rip, had me there. Jeff, I will never sleep on you again. You will be the reason why I pick up a book. You will absolutely be a part of that equation.
Because retailers got a few page preview. And it was like the beginning few pages. And it was decent, but it didn't give you at all. Because I was sold on the first few pages, but like I didn't realize what I was signing up for. Let's give you a snippet.
Go for it.
This is 1970s,
right?
We've got a motorcycle gang of women.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a pot conglomerate in Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a murder, and we've got all of these
presumably
things,
a murder. Yes.
So it's got crime.
Yes.
It's got family.
Yes.
It's got intrigue. It's
got badass ladies.
Yeah. Like, let me reiterate: motorcycle gang of women that, and not like in a salacious like Corman sense.
No. We're talking like, forget Sons of Anarchy, Daughters of Anarchy.
Yeah.
Okay? Like, that's what we're going for. Let me tell you, okay, so this is crazy. I read it, I loved it, then I flipped to the back and I read the letters.
Mm-hmm.
And in it, Jeff talks about how Grindhouse was part of the pitch, which I didn't feel when I was first reading it, and now I can't help but...
Yeah, I like this right here.
It's right there. Like, it's there. It was so, because like I just read it and I was like, oh, that's fun, but I'm just going there. But now, with thinking of this as a Grindhouse piece,
it's so beautiful.
It's so much better. Like, it almost invokes an immediate need to reread it. And yes,
it's
You can hear the commercials.
Yeah, because the thing is, in the back they've got like 1970s like newspaper clippings.
Yep.
And it's just I cannot express how awesome this was to read. It was so much fun. He was able to get us to feel connected to these characters so quickly, and that has me intrigued because something clearly is amiss in this particular area, and I don't think this is going to be a simple family reunion and potential business venture between the independent pharmaceutical reps of Kentucky.
No.
And
no. And when you get into what the core of this actually is, it is a sight to behold. It is absolutely glorious. Grendel, Kentucky, man. Like, where have you been all my life?
Right.
Literally.
AWA, you better have all 4 issues of this in the can so it comes out.
Oh my God.
On time.
Literally.
Be prepped to do additional printings because I don't think anybody ordered this enough.
Nobody saw this coming. And I mean, so I don't know if this was at all pushed back due to COVID. I'm praying that it was, so that we do get that, immediate release factor, because I think this is going to be one of those things that come Halloween, you want to have a trade paperback of that you can slip into, grown-er kids' bags and be like, no candy for you. Here is some Grendel, Kentucky. And they might complain until they read it and they go,
oh, yeah.
Oh, my God, that's dope.
That was an excellent gift.
That was fantastic. Yeah. So, yes, and more yes. Grendel, Kentucky. High five yourself. Good. Please. That was a great read. Yes. If you enjoyed our reviews, please like this episode because that thumbs up is true validation for our hearts and minds. And if you want some more of this action dropped into your DMs every week, make sure you hit that subscription, bell notification, because we drop some and it's amazing.
Yep. Like clockwork.
Tick, 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 tick. Grendel, Kentucky is amazing.
Oh my gosh.
You just throw that out there. Grendel, Kentucky is amazing.
That pig roast.
Absolutely. Okay. Before we get out of here, we would be remiss if we did not acknowledge the passing of Chadwick Boseman. Yeah. Obviously, he touched the entire world with his portrayal of Black Panther, but clearly played a ton of iconic roles before and after that. It's amazing to see how everyone has responded as though this was like a truly personal loss.
It was.
Right. But we did feel like we knew him.
Yeah.
And it's amazing that his work will stand as a forever legacy, untouchable, brilliant mind, gone way too soon. We give the finger to cancer on every level, and definitely so now. So with our hearts go out to his family, his friends, and to really the whole world that's grieving right now.
Everybody who was touched by his work.
Yeah.
The generational aspect of his work, seeing parents come in with their kids, with their grandparents. It's tough. Saturday, after the news broke at the shop, was a lot of talking to guests about it. Just so.
Definitely. So, in honor of Chadwick, we say goodnight.